Hi, this is Sandy. Today I'm going to talk about the Akashic Record and explain how I work with the Akashic Record to help people. So, if you've never seen any of my videos, I'm a healer, I'm a teacher. Back in 2001, I was working as a registered nurse in home care, hospice, palliative. I did some IV. I was one of the on the IV team, and I'm gonna tell you my story about how I had the awakening. I had previous awakenings. However, my focus was being a nurse, and I was very curious about tarot cards back then and was online. Online wasn't very big back then. I was online looking for some place where I could learn tarot cards. I stumbled across a website that talked about the Akashic Records and clearing of it. I didn't understand any of it. I was so green. I was also very skeptical. And long story short, I contacted this guy. I was asking questions. We were emailing back and forth. And he said, maybe we should make an appointment and talk by phone and make this easier. Well, me being so skeptical, I blocked his number, or blocked my number so he couldn't see it, and called him on the appointment time. And told him that I knew I had believed in reincarnation for a really long time, but I never really talked about it. Grew up Catholic, and we just didn't talk about things like that. And told him I knew that there were at least 3 people in my life that as soon as I met them, I knew them. And he told me to think about it, to think about one of them. And as soon as I did, energy started flowing up my body from underneath my feet, all the way up my body and encompassing me in this big energy egg. I could completely feel the skepticism just melting away just by thinking about this other person. And I don't know what he was doing, if he was clearing something, I don't know. He never did tell me. But I said, wow, okay, I want you to do this clearing for me. Now, I have to tell you, I was working as a nurse and I was functional, but I had lost all my goals. I had always been a very big goal-oriented person. I had lost all my goals. I was basically just functioning, and I was on 2 antidepressants. And he did the clearing. I don't remember how long he said it would take, 5 or 7 days or something. And then the next day I woke up and I felt so different. I was up cleaning the house, buzzing around. My husband at the time was like, wow, what got into you? And like 2 days later, I was like a different person. I had a lot of energy on depression from past life that I had been carrying around and struggled up to that point in my life a lot with depression. And I said to this guy, I got in touch with him the next day or 2 days later, I don't remember. I said, how do I learn how to do this? I've got to be able to help other people. I got in the first class that I could. I was on a fast track, and I took every class that I could and learned how to do this work. And I then did a little bit of that work, and I still stayed in nursing for a few years. I got to the point where I could actually teach this work through the organization that I was working with. I no longer am associated with them at some point, and I learned all kinds of other things. I was guided into energy work, hands on the body and hands off the body. I was guided into just all kinds of amazing modalities to help people heal. And in each of these modalities, my abilities awakened more and more and more and more. So, but the Akashic record clearing has always been a very big part of what I use to help people. As time went on, I disconnected from basically all the associations that I was associated with and just started letting energy flow through me from spirit in the way that it's supposed to flow through me. Kind of allowing my guides to guide me in whatever direction. Sometimes I will get new information. I don't understand it all the time, but I can get a feel of what they're doing, like in healing, and kind of sort of describe it or just give it a title, like the electrical system, maybe one of the things. I don't know exactly what they do. I have gotten some things about rewiring. And I think it has to do with the neural pathways. Anyway, I've just let everything kind of evolve into what spirit wants it to evolve into. And I let them use me as an instrument to help other people. That is my main goal, and to help people reach their highest potential. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Akashic record, what it is, and how I work with it. So the Akashic record is the soul's record. We all have a soul's record. It records all positive and all negative experiences. What my work does is it looks at the negative experiences on a level that is not conscious. It teaches the soul what they need to learn about that negative experience, and then it clears the energy. So when I had my clearing done, I had 97 or 98% that was releasable having to do with depression. So I had a lot of lifetimes that created depression, and so what happened was my soul was educated on why I was holding on to that energy, and then it was released. The other thing that Akashic clearing work that I does is I can clear entities, I can clear discarnates. Discarnates are beings out of body. I didn't understand any of that when I first connected with him. So attachments, they're discarnates, but entities that actually have attached within, they're attached to a person's body is my understanding of it. I picked that I didn't learn through Akashic record. I picked it up somehow on my own. I picked it up, and I'm able to help people who have not been able to, like if you have somebody who has almost like a personality change. They may be being influenced by either discarnates, or they may have an entity attached. And whenever those other beings, out-of-body beings, are attached to us in any way, they have their own set of Akashic record negative programming, and we can experience their programming like it's our own. So it's really good to get all of that cleared out. I can clear negative portals, cleaning up and closing them, do positive negative energy balance of properties, of businesses. I've worked on people's businesses, as well as their properties or homes. What else? The energy between people. When there's a negative energy that's happening between two people, or even within a family, I can clear all of those energies, those kind of things. So focusing on how I do the works. So I use a pendulum, and a pendulum is basically, I don't know if you can see this. Here, let me use this. A pendulum is basically anything. You could use a string as long as in a fishing weight, as long as it's something that is heavier at the bottom. Okay? Now, There are different ways to teach pendulum. I teach people how to use a pendulum. I used to do a class in Myrtle Beach when I lived there. Actually, just recently, my youngest granddaughter was wanting me to teach her, and we got started. We didn't get very far with it yet, because she had to go off to camp. But different people are taught pendulum in a different way. I will tell you how I taught and how I work with a pendulum. So I'll use this paper kind of to give you an example. So when I use a pendulum, please show me a yes. Going back and forth, so you can see it's I'm over here, and it's going back and forth in front of me. That is a yes. Show me a no. And a no goes side to side for me. Show me a working circle. A working circle is a circle that just shows me it's working. And then it will give me the answer when it's done. Or it will let me know, because I usually say, let me know when that's complete. And usually that's 100%, it's complete. Or sometimes I'll get a yes, depending on what the situation is. So I use a pendulum. I have depending on the situation of the client that I'm working with. If it's somebody that I've worked with a long time and I did a major clearing for them, and they just pop in every once in a while and say, can you do a cleanup for me? Can you check me? Then I just go in and I do a much quicker cleanup. Some people will call me and ask me to work on their abundance and prosperity, and I have developed a series of questions and things that I ask about checking their abundance and prosperity and clearing that up. I have this one client that I've known her for, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 15 years, I think. And she'll get she will not be having money flow in her business. And she's a salesperson. And she'll call me up and ask me to clear. And she has told me before that an hour after I got off the phone with her from clearing her abundance and prosperity, things shifted. And it's happened numerous times. So it's very, very powerful work. There can be other things that play into it, belief systems that block you and all of that. But I also can work on exploring all of that with a person. So let me give you an example of how I do things. Somebody once asked me, who was just watching me, because my pendulum will go certain directions and stuff, and they asked me, so are you getting answers in your head? How is that working? So I made this little thing for you real quick. So like for numbers, I don't know if you can see it. For numbers, I will ask, like, is it a single, double, triple digit number? If it's a single digit, then I'll just use a scale. And I don't have to do this on paper. I do this in my mind. In my mind, I have trained. I've done this for 23 years. So I'm able to train, give me an example of a person, please. Thank you. Can I work with them? May I work with them? Should I work with them? Thank you. Show me, do they have discarnates? How many? And they're showing me triple digits. Okay? So then I'll say, what's the first digit? And I get 1. What's the second digit? And I get 6. What's the third digit? And I get 3. So 163 discarnates they have. So please clear, educate, and remove them. Thank you. And so you can see my pendulum is in a working circle. Let me know when this is complete. Thank you. And so I get a yes, and that tells me it's complete. So that person, whoever example that they just gave me, they knew of somebody who really needed their discarnates cleared, and so they gave me them as an example, and I just cleared their discarnates. So you can see my number chart, and this is I don't use a number chart. It's ingrained. I've trained. So when you use a pendulum, it's trained by ideomotor response. That's what it's called, ideomotor response. So source sends the signal through, and it goes, the energy goes down my body, and I have to go through a process of training my body and the muscles in my body to receive the energy to get the appropriate answer. So it's, when I train people how to use a pendulum, I go through a process of clearing past life interference. Like maybe there was a lifetime where you were very spiritual, and a lot of us have, where you were a very spiritual person and you used a pendulum or some kind of a dowsing tool, which could be tarot, it could be dowsing rods, there's all kinds, it could be runes. There's all kinds of tools that we use that are considered dowsing tools. And maybe they used dowsing tools, and maybe they were declared a witch and burned at the stake or hung or whatever. And so the last memory that they have was all this fear and terror that they had of being named a witch because they did this work. And they weren't doing anything harmful. They were using their abilities for good. They were just spiritual. So, or maybe they were named as a witch and they never did any of that stuff. But because they were named a witch, it left negative programming. So when in this life they try to learn how to use these tools, they may get blocked. So I work at clearing the blocks so that a person can freely learn how to use the pendulum. Another way I use it is, and again, I don't have them on paper. I do this all by just knowing and communicating with source, with spirit, where these spots are. But let's say somebody asks me a question and they say, let's say I have this one client that calls me, and they sometimes will compare like cameras or something. And so they give me the name of cameras, and let's say they give me 4 different types of cameras. So those are the 4 answers, okay? And then I would ask for spirit to get up to speed on these cameras and what the goal is for this person that would like the information about this, and then they will indicate which is more in alignment with what the person wants. So of course I always tell my clients, it's your choice, this is what I'm getting, but you have to ultimately make the decision. This is your choice. Now you may have another kind of question that we have an answer over here and I have an answer over here, or maybe it's both, or maybe it's neither of these is the answer. And so in that situation, if it were answer 1, my pendulum would go up here. If it's answer 2, my pendulum would go there. If it's answer both, it would go in the middle. If it's neither, it's going to give me a no across the bottom of the page, or across, the bottom of my third eye in vision. So that's how I use the pendulum. I also use a series of charts. I do use some of the charts from my original teaching just to use as tools to find programs, negative programs, or blocks to positive programs. There are some specific programming that I use that still do use those charts for. But I have my own system for a full clearing on someone that I go through, and then I give the person, if it's a first-time person I've never worked with before, I give them a written out report of what I do. I can do these clearings on the phone, in which case I don't do a report. I just let you write down whatever you want. And my work has also evolved into almost like a shamanic journey. So in some cases, you will get a full clearing, but we go through a meditative process together. Our vibrations are raised very high, and they will sometimes take people into past lives to view certain things and show them why they have negative programming around whatever it is, and teach them through me, teach them what they need to learn so that they can let go of it. Other times, people are taken to their guides. Sometimes I can channel information. Sometimes the person gets it themselves. I usually try for any of the shamanic stuff, I try not to give. I usually get the answers, but I try to not give them answers. I try to let them discover it for themselves, because I feel like it's so much more powerful when someone gets their own answers rather than being told. And I have felt this way since I was a little girl. I have always felt like I wanted to have my own experiences, and I wanted to learn what I needed to learn in my own way without people just telling me what I need to learn or what I need to see, kind of thing. So, which is, at sometimes I will tell you, has in my life been a little frustrating, because someone may say something to me like, years and years ago, one of my spiritual teachers said, you're in victim energy, you need to stop being a victim. And they wouldn't tell me how to do that. So I had to go through a process of learning and understanding that myself, which I believe has helped me to be able to help other people recognize when they're in victim energy and how to help them release that energy and move through it. And of course, it spirals. If you've ever heard me talk about, you have an experience, you think you've healed it, and you've healed it down here, but we spiral up and our vibration spirals up, and we may get another opportunity to look at that same thing to clear it, and then we again spiral up for another opportunity to clear the same kind of thing. It may not be the exact situation, but it's still that same energy. Okay, so what have I covered? I highly recommend that everybody have their Akashic record cleared. Yes, I can do children. I can do for other people. Let's say a guy contacts me and wants me to do a clearing on his girlfriend. I can ask the soul's permission to do that clearing. However, I do not share the information with the boyfriend. To me, that's a confidentiality thing with the girlfriend. And even if she doesn't know she's getting the clearing, I do not share the information with the boyfriend, because I feel strongly about confidentiality. If he wants a clearing on himself, by all means, I can do the clearing and I will share the information with him. For children, I will share, if it's minor children, I will share the information with the parent, because they are the legal person for them. I do have a client that contacts me all the time to clear her 3 children, and I share with her what I get. I have another client that used to contact me about their son, but he was over 18, and I would not share information with her, detailed information with her about the clearing. So that's kind of how I do my work. It can lead into other things. I can get information on, like things that that you may need to work on or focus your energy on. I may get information where you need specific healing on something. I can send a healing committee of angels to help, but also I can do energy healing of my own. We'll talk about that at another time, but that's the gist of the Akashic Record. I use charts and I use my pendulum and I just let the energy flow through and guide. I can do it remotely. Like I said, what I do need is a name and a birthday for the people that I'm clearing. I do require payment ahead of time before I do the work. And then if you want a report, I can email a report to you. If you're a repeat person, I don't generally do the full report unless you specifically ask me to, but I will give you the highlights. I will give you the intuitive hits on it. If you've done a full clearing, I can do, the just quick calls where it may only be a 10-minute phone call, and I give you what I got out of doing that clearing. We may be over the phone. Some people just text me and ask me to do the clearing, and I do it, and then I give them a gist of, well, this is what I was feeling was going on with you, kind of thing. All right, I think that pretty much does it. You'll find my email in the description box, and right now I don't have a website up. I don't know if I'm going to put one up or not. I've mostly done my work by word of mouth, and people just contacting me through email. So if you send me an email, I can discuss with you what your options are, what I can help you with. You need to give me an idea of what you're looking for, what you feel like you need cleared. I can let you know what the options are, and we can go from there. Set up a time and go from there. So I hope you find this helpful. If you know of anyone who would benefit from this information, please share. If you have not, please subscribe to the channel, like and comment. And if anyone is interested in learning how to use a pendulum, either email me or put notes in the comment, and I will start a list of people who are interested, and we could maybe get a class going. I don't need that many people for a class to do it, and probably what I would do is do it over Zoom, so I can see you and you can see me, and I can see how your pendulum is functioning as we teach. So there we have it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Sending you lots and lots of love and many blessings.